and welcome to this week's reaction video by me, Dampsam. The name of the video is Dri-Rods Damp Fix, and he's got a part 1, part 2 and a part 3, and it's Mr. SD Roberts Plastering and Insulation. So they must, I think they do outside as well. But I've seen it and I can't not see it, and I've got to comment on it, and I'll try not to be too harsh, but everything will be constructive criticism. So, like I said, apologies for state of his camera. I mean that's one thing he might have to invest in if he's going to be doing some content. So let's get on with it. This is Stu. Over to you, Stu.
It's Stu again, SD Roberts Plastering and Insulation in Warwickshire. Today we're in Warwick.
But first thing I see is that it's bridging. So it's bridging on. This is a solid floor and it's bridging. He's took this skirting off and he's seeing this, and then he's going to come to his own conclusion. So let's get on with it. Come on, Stu, see what you got to say.
And we're doing some damp proofing. Now, as you can see here, guys, all along here, these holes that you can see, the customers had some damp work done previous, which has failed. So they've had a chemical DPC injected.
So he's kind of jumping to assumptions, saying that it's failed. Listen, if they've put some kind of damp proof course in, it could have failed depending on what they've put in. But being a experienced person in this preservation industry, my first thoughts are that it's a bridging issue.
Hiya, Dampsam here. I really hope you're enjoying our video. Did you know, if you want to watch a full unedited version of this, if you become a damp fan for $2.99, which is as much as an expensive cup of coffee up here, so if you press that button and become a damp fan, you can watch a full unedited version of this. Now, let's get back watching this bit, eh? See you in a bit.
I know what it is. It's just come to me, and I know what it is, and I've seen it in other things. What I was going to say is, I wonder if there's a fireplace being took out. I was going to say, as a fireplace being took out, because I've seen video already. I know fireplaces on other wall, but if it's a row of terraced, which I think it is, that means next door, their fireplace, their chimney stack, their fireplace will be on that wall. And like I said, straight away, it looked like sulfate salts. And what I think it is their chimney stack, inside of their chimney stack is wet, has been getting wet. And it's them sulfate salt, they've come through onto the surface. And that's what's caused issues. It just looks like a classic pattern of sulfate salts.
And as you can see, there's still tide marks all along the wall. So I just wanted to demonstrate to you, always best to try and chisel back past this.
If you're doing a survey for somebody, make sure you've got the permission to chisel back past the brickwork or whatever. If you're going to do that, you shouldn't have any need to do that. But it's his starting job. I think this is what first day at job. So she's obviously said that he can do work, so he has got permission really. But if he'd have been going to look at it, he wouldn't have done that.
Skim coat and the backing coat. Expose the brickwork if you suspect damp.
No, don't expose brickwork if you suspect damp. Go on a course, find out what you need to do, and get told by professionals, and it's not expose brickwork.
And just check the brick with a moisture meter. And as you can see there, it's like shooting past 25%, 26.2%, which is a high moisture reading. That's actually on the.
To be fair, 26% is high, but it's not high. And he shouldn't be putting on masonry. And there's 3 comments on his there's these 3 comments on his video, on this video, and every one of them saying you can't use a moisture meter on masonry. You can't. They're for plaster, and they've got 2 types of reading on them. So you've got a moisture content which can be used for timber, and then you've got a moisture content equivalent, which this is what we have on plaster, and then you interpret the readings after being learnt them. So yeah, you can you can use a moisture meter like that. It does look like it looks a bit like the dry zone meter, but a dry zone one's orange, as you've seen me do unboxing.
Going into right into the mortar bed on the brickwork. Still reading damp, guys.
Yeah, so you put it into mortar bed, and if you noticed, it was 21. So the moisture reading that we take as being where timber starts to be at risk of wood-boring insect attack and fungal decay is 20%, and that is if it's at a constant 20% for a long time, then it starts to can become a problem. They do get wetter, a lot wetter, but that is the mark that we say, if it's over, then it's wet. If it's under, then it's acceptable.
What we're going to do, we're going to install a DriRod system into the mortar bed, because they've gone into the actual brickwork here. So we're going to go into the actual mortar bed.
So they have gone into brickwork. We've gone through plaster, but you must be able to see it on that corner there.
With the new DriRod system by DryZone, which is got a good success rate. Then we're going to reinstate using
using words like it's got a good success rate. If it's rising damp and the rods are installed correctly and the correct replastering is done in accordance with BS 6576, it will have 100% success rate, because that's what it's built for. So it's not got a good success rate. It's only got a good success rate if it's installed incorrectly. If user error is not, if it's been done wrong. It's a fantastic product, and if you buy them and do them right, it will work. But like I said before, this room, from just looking at it, it looks to me, I can just tell there's different types of damp that's affecting different bits of wall. So you've got bridging issues, you've got sulfate salts. I'm not, and like I said, it's only showed us these ones.
Vapor board rather than a direct plaster spec on this one.
So he's going to use a vapor board. It sounds like he's using express damp system. He hasn't said what he's going to fix plasterboard onto wall with. But I'm tipping if he's using DriRods, he'll use dry grip adhesive, which is fine. And you can use vapor board. There's no wrong with using vapor board. It will allow moisture to go in and out. But so will a normal plasterboard. A normal plasterboard is a lot cheaper, so it's a lot more profitable. There's really no need for a vapor board. I'm not saying you can't use it, but there's no need. You can just use a normal plasterboard,
and that will resolve the issue for her. We're also going to rectify all this sort of stuff that you can see going on. Old lath and plaster ceiling that's cracked and bowed. So we're going to chop all this out, reboard the ceiling, re-skim it all, skim all the walls. We've got a little bit of wallpaper to remove. So by the time this is done, in around a week's time, it'll all look completely...
So, I mean, I don't know whether it's from what they call it, from somebody stripping wallpaper, but it does look wet above this door here and in this corner. I'm wondering if they've had no heating on, and then because that's definitely a cellar because I've seen it later on. So I'm tipping that cold damp air is coming up and probably coming out at door there, and it's condensing on that wall. So that's another thing.
What's going on, guys? It's Stu, SD Roberts, plastering.
So he's took it off fairly high. That it looks like about one. Well, it is. It's 1.2 meters, but it's a nice straight line. So as well as kind of criticizing what he's saying about things, he's taped this door up to kitchen. So it looks as though he's doing a good job. He's cut this off nice and straight.
It's all finished. So this is what I've been working on today, guys. So we've got a lath and plaster ceiling. If you remember, I had quite a prominent crack all around this area here.
Yeah.
So I've chopped that back, made good. We're going to start injecting the walls with the DriRod system.
I'm just trying to see what plaster is used there, but
and then we can start making good the plaster. And
so he's got some bonding, so that looks like he's used that for putting onto lats. And then that looks like a bit of hardwall. He's got his stilts as well, doing them off at stilts.
We'll catch up with you a bit later in the week once we've done that for the next part of the video. Thanks, guys. See you next time. So I'll run you through what we've been doing, but this room's basically finished now. I've got the globe light on. This is 4000 aluminum, so I'm hoping that will really show you the finish that we've been able to achieve.
I wouldn't be bothered about finish, you know what I mean? As long as it's a decent finish, it can be painted. We want to know whether it's going to stay dry. And if it's done express system, it will do. So he'll I mean, he's drilled and injected it. Whether it needed it, I don't know. But if it's done express damp system, put boards on, it should be okay. Especially if it's gone as high as what he did. So hopefully, even with that system, even though sulfate salts need to be isolated, he might get away with it. Time will tell.
With the plastering that was finished yesterday. But yeah, what we've done essentially, you can see that line across there.
Yeah, we can see it.
We've hacked all the old plaster off. You'll see that in the previous video if you scroll through Facebook.
Right.
We've hacked the plaster off at 1.2 meters high, and we've installed a dry zone dry rod system into the brick, and I'll show you exactly what that is, because on this wall we did double bubble, so we injected this side.
Double bubble? What fucking hell's double bubble? Double bubble. Now listen, this is it's getting a bit mad. This double bubble. Bear in mind, this wall down to cellar is just a single brick, so I'm interested now. But also, it's a bit dark down here. You might be able to see. But also, guys, we did this side as well. So you can see here these drills. So it's saying he's done other side and then he's done that side. Bear in mind, it's just one brick thick, half a brick thick, really, because it's classed as a half brick, not one brick. One brick thick would be double that, but it's a half brick. So he's drilled these. First things I've noticed is he has drilled them 60 mil centres, but he's not done them where Purps are. So only thing I can think is that he's done other side where Purps are. That's a Purp on Purp, but he ain't done that. So you'd have one here, and then you'd have one there, bottom at Purp, and then you'd have one there. He ain't done it. He's done it there. So he's kind of measured that distance and then just gone from here. So he's gone 60, 60, 60 all the way on to end, which it'll work. It's not going to work, but as a rule of thumb, you do every Purp because moisture travels up through mortar. And what we basically do is we drill a 12 mil hole
and we put the dry rods all the way through into the brickwork. And what this does, all the moisture that's in this dry rod will basically melt into this mortar bed all the way along. So as the damp rises,
Necessarily, it don't really work like that. It does. He's kind of. I don't know whether he's been told that or whether he's just made it up his sen. No, it don't work like that. Basically, your dry rod goes in, and then if any moisture comes up, soon as moisture gets to dry rod, then your dry rod starts to work.
but that's had the same treatment all the way around. All the way around. We've renewed all the skirting boards as well. You can see they've got new skirting boards on.
Yeah, he's done a good job.
We tried to get a close match to the original, which is that one. Pretty much identical, slightly different ball nose on there.
It's not a bull nose. It looked like a little, was it lamb's tongue?
But yeah, that's all done. Popped a bit of paint on for the customer behind the radiator. This lady lives on her own, so she's unable to get help putting the radiator back on. We don't normally put the rods back on, guys, but it's nice to be nice. So I chucked that on, chucked a bit of paint on there.
Dude.
This area was done in December last month, before I broke up for Christmas. All this here was heavy, sorry, this wasn't Artex, this was heavy pattern Artex, but this one here had lots of horrible spider cracks running through the wall. So it's all been meshed. The ceiling was Artex. Again, if you scroll through the Facebook feed, you might be able to see where I filmed before we'd skimmed, but this was the same. This was heavy pattern Artex. Lighting's not the best in here, guys. It should still pick up the finish. Again, all this archway was quite a heavy texture, like a stipple finish. So we've skimmed it all in smooth. The customer's in the process of painting. I think she wants to give this another coat. But the joy of having your wall.
Criticising her. I mean, criticising customer. Let me come down and check it. I mean, I can't really see for this camera, but I'll come down and check your fucking plastering. Oh, checking Mrs. Miggins's fucking painting. Oh, lad.
All skimmed is you can just literally dunk the roll and roll paint. You've got absolutely no prep work at all. If you're in the process of buying an older property with 9-inch solid walls,
yeah,
then keep an eye out for panelling like this, because sometimes it's hiding damp. Say this wall was riddled with damp all the way along, and sometimes they put this panelling up to hide the damp. So it's just something to keep aware of, guys.
If it's normally cheap, shitty panelling, and it's normally on downstairs, and it's normally on some walls and not on others, definitely the hiding damp. I did a survey the other day, and they were exactly the same. There were damp walls everywhere, and then they've got this panelling on. And what you need to do is, they've normally left skirting on at bottom. So have a look, see if skirting's on at bottom, and get your damp meter, put your damp meter onto skirting, press it in, and if you get a reading over 20%, that tells you that your skirting is against some plaster that's wet. So your timber is against something that's wet, because your panelling is normally probably sat off at wall. They've probably put slate lat on and then sat it on, so you don't get any bridging issues, or because it's not touching it. But your skirting, they'll have left that on, and that'll be wet. So that's how you tell.
Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're interested in a free quotation, smash the link below in the comments, and don't forget to tune into the next video. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
So what can we take from this? Then so what can we take away from this video? I mean, I bang on all the time about making sure that you invest in yourself, and you get some knowledge. Like I said before, biggest problem in our industry is misdiagnosis. So what he needs to do is he needs to go and find out for himself and go on a course and listen to people that know, and they'll tell him what he needs to know, and then he can take it from there, and he can learn about things. He can go on the manufacturers' websites then and watch their videos as well. There's loads of information out there because he's halfway there. He looks like he's a good plasterer. His finish looked good. He was clean. He got nice, hacking off. He'd done it all level, and it were a clean and tidy job. He's halfway there. He just needs to get that knowledge. Lad's learning. So if you're watching this, Stu, get in touch if you want pointing in the right direction. Dampsam at thedampshow.co.uk. Drop us a line if you want pointing in the right direction, and I'll tell you which courses to go on. What is it I've got coming? I've got something coming up soon, and I was just trying to think what it is. But yeah, I'm just working on an ebook. So an ebook on condensation, and it's the ultimate guide on condensation. Housing Ombudsman has put new guidelines in place for landlords and housing associations, councils, private landlords, and they've got to get their act in gear. Lots of people circling these no fee solicitors, and people need to know what they can do if the landlord is not helping them, if the complaints are falling on deaf ears. So I've done this ultimate guide. It's in process of being made, so hopefully by the time this goes out, it'll be up and running. And you can email me. I don't know what email address it's going to be. It's going to be something like on dampsam.com, because I've just bought that. And but I'll let you know what email is if you want to contact me, and I'll point you in the right direction, and you can purchase this ebook. And best thing is, price is going to be whatever you want to pay for it. So that's it. So you can go on board. If you want to pay now, if you think that I'm a wanker and I don't know what I'm on about, you can get it and pinch it and thieve it off me. But so it's pay what you want. So that's one of the things we've got in pipeline, and I'm doing a course on express damp proofing system when it gets up and running. I've had a lot of things on this year. It was supposed to be up and running now, but I'm back on it. We're getting things in line now, and it shouldn't be long. So I hope you've enjoyed this video from me, Dampsam. And other thing is, if you want to become a member, a damp fan, go onto YouTube and have a look for our membership site. So for price of a posh coffee and a Percy Turner's pork pie, or a Speedy's pork pie, or even an Alberta's pork pie, then or a Melton Mowbray one, mini, one of the mini ones, then head over to YouTube, have a look for membership for Dampsam, and for $2.99 you can become a member and see more of these reaction videos uncut, and gets badges and things like that, and get some access to me. So that's Dampsam signing off after telling you everything that I'm going to be doing. See you on next time. Bye bye now.